Okay, let's try this again. Sorry, people. Once I figure it out this one time, it'll be good to go. So, try this again. Sorry, people. Oh, I think I got it. Mic check. Oh, I think I got it. Mic check. Hey, okay, we're in business. Let's get this going. Sorry, everybody. I gotta change this, fix this mic. Sorry, everybody. Okay, let's check us on YouTube real quick. Um, no, that's not it. Okay. Hold on, ads. Chill out, ads. Okay, mic check on YouTube. Oh, that is not it. Okay, mic check, mic check, mic check. Okay, we're good to go. Finally. What's going on, people? How's everybody doing? Sorry about the technical difficulties. If you are watching in pre record, shout out to you guys. If you guys are watching live, I appreciate you as well. Today, I want to talk about a topic that is really probably the biggest thing that's always on my mind as a real estate agent. But first, let me tell you guys who I am if you don't know or you're watching this in post and somehow you stumbled into this video. My name is Ryan Fagan. I am a real estate broker now. I've been a licensed real estate agent for over a decade. I've also been an investor since 2010. So that's 13 years now. I've also been a mortgage loan officer. I've been a real estate analyst for a commercial appraisal firm. And I also worked in property preservation on a Fannie Mae contract, basically maintaining bank owned properties. So I have a lot of experience in the real estate field. I also have a podcast network called Talk to Me Nice Podcast Network, and I run a podcast studio, as well as I just launched my real estate brokerage, Artie Real Estate, which is located in Central/South Jersey, where we service buyers and sellers, and we also do property management. So those are my qualifications to talk about the stuff that I am always talking about. And this topic is near and dear to my heart because I think that home ownership goes well beyond financial, although there are very important financial benefits of being a landlord or the lord of the land and having power and control over land and territory that's been fought over for generations and what hundreds and thousands of years. People have been fighting over land. It's one of the most important things that we have, and there are so many benefits that go beyond financial, even in modern times, as far as owning property. And I think that it's very concerning that since 2020, home affordability has gotten out of control for people, meaning that if you don't own anything, you are falling behind. That's something that I talk about a lot right now. If you don't have equity in appreciating assets, I feel like you are, even if you're doing good at your job and you're running the rat race and everything, you will fall behind and get left back in the economy. I think the only way to stay relevant financially is to own property, and it's very concerning what we're seeing right now. So basically, home affordability has spiked so crazy. I think in a lot of markets, it probably costs almost double to live somewhere. And that's a big suck on your finances. And for new people, especially young people getting into, graduating college or getting their first job, a lot of their income is going to be going to housing, whether they're renting or buying. A couple things that I do want to talk about today is renting versus buying. We're going to talk about interest rates, the real estate market prices, supply and demand, and this is interactive live. So if you guys have questions about anything about real estate or business or whatever you guys want to, we're just going to hang out tonight and react to some videos and get a little educated on what's happening in the market and maybe trying to come up with some solutions, right? Because why is this happening is important. How is happening and what can we do about it and what might happen in the future is all stuff that I want to cover today. But if you have any kind of real estate questions, I'm here to offer myself to give free game and give my perspective based off of my experiences. So I'll give you what I think about whatever you might want to ask me. So, with that being said, the first thing I wanted to kind of go over is like, let's bring up housing stuff. So, let me share my screen. Sorry, I'm delayed. Oh my goodness. I want to share my window. I want to share. What do I want to share? This. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Still getting used to all this stuff here. Okay. So this is these are good starter homes. Let me show you that have sold in the town that I live in, basically, right? And these are probably some of the cheapest properties in West Hampton. And I purchased my home that I used to live in this neighborhood for $176,000. And if you see, they're selling 250 almost to 280, 285. Okay. And so let's look at them real quick. These are not crazy houses. These are almost 1,400 square feet. Let's bring up some pictures. You are not living big. Oh my goodness. This is all outdated. All outdated, right? So you get the idea. This is a 2-bedroom house, 3-bedroom, sorry, for $250,000. Okay. And this is probably the entry level in my market. And if we look at we'll go over exactly what's happening with affordability with this, right? So this house currently, if you were to buy it, the interest rates are about 7.5%. Even if you use FHA with a low down payment, because most entry level buyers don't have a big down payment, and seller assist is kind of hard to get, so we're not going to cover that. And our homeowners insurance, let's say it's about $900 a year. Now, I am covering stuff in New Jersey, so that's going to kind of dictate the pricing for this. So you're going to have 3.5% down, which is $8,000, and then probably total cash you need to purchase this property. You're going to need about $12,000 to $15,000, and your monthly payment is $2,300. So you're going to need to make about $4,500, maybe at least $4,000 a month to be able to afford the entry level house in West Hampton. And that house, as you saw the photos, needs a lot of work. So that's kind of tough. But here's what's affecting everything. There's two things. Interest rates, which have been going up crazy right now. So 3 years ago, the interest rate probably was at least 3.25. So the monthly payment went from 23 to $1,700 essentially. 4, 5, 6, $700 difference because of the interest rate in your monthly payment in about 3 years. Okay, and that's one difference, right? So if we're at 7.5, bam, we're paying 2,300. If we're at 3.5, we're at 17. If we're at 3, we're at 1640 about. But that's not the only thing. Home prices have gone up. So say we paid a high interest, but if this goes back a couple of years to, let's just say it was $200,000, this is still somewhat reasonable at $2,000, even at this high interest rate. But what this deal looked like probably 3 years ago is $1,400 per month. Okay. So home affordability in the last 3 years in this market has gone from this house started cost you about $1,400 a month, and this includes property taxes, insurance, and everything. And there's no HOA in this area, so literally all in $1,400. And today these homes are going for $2,300. How is that sustainable to anybody anywhere in the world? Obviously, someone can afford it, but I mean, man, what are we going to do, man? This is really brutal. That's a 7 or 14, that's $1,000 swing, almost $1,100 swing in affordability in your starter home or entry level home price. And guys, if you have comments, put them in and I'll put them on the screen. And if you want to call in or have a chat, I'm going to put the link in the comments here. Here it is. Join the conversation. Boom. So check out my comment there, and you can join in and talk to me, and we can talk about these things. So let's bring up something else. So basically, that is the premise for everything that we're talking about today. Is that on the starter home in my real estate market, it's costing you $1,100 more between purchase price and interest rate. And that's going to have so many effects on the economy and everything. It's costing so much more to live. So this is a median home chart. So it goes all the way back to 1963. I think some notable things is this is the top of the real estate bubble in the subprime mortgage crisis that the economy crashed. You can barely see the dip now. The average median home price was $257,400, and it dipped all the way down to 208. So about a $50,000 dip. Okay. And if you look, home prices recovered by 2012. It was about the same level, and they continue to increase at a normal rate. And then look, 2020 Q2, we're at 322 all the way to the peak in 2022 Q4, 480,000. That's over $100,000 increase on the median home price. That is brutal. So if you own real estate, you are killing it. But if you don't own anything, how are you going to get in the game? Now, this is interesting because we have a big dip here, but now it's recovering. So I don't know what's going to happen with this because I talk to a lot of agents, and if any agents hop on, I would love to talk to you guys about what you're seeing in the market because there is some stagnation happening. So, guys, I guess let's talk about the impact in the world, right? So so I didn't even talk about rent. Okay. So if I go back to this scenario, um, okay. So the rent for this property right now, because I rent properties in this neighborhood, the rent is actually lower than this monthly payment. So, and remember, this is kind of like a crappy, not updated house. So, uh, probably better condition. The rent's probably about 2,100. So, my whole career, you could get the mortgage for significantly lower than you could get the to pay rent. So you could buy it and make money day one as a investment property, and that's not happening either. So if you were just looking at a monthly payment basis, it would actually be cheaper to rent for the first time ever, and that's the first time I've ever seen that. So now you're actually faced with a kind of a dilemma because I was pushing home ownership super heavy prior to COVID, especially for people just getting in financially stable and being able to buy a home. And had they listened to me, they would have done really well, of course. But it's really concerning, because if you rent, you see, if you get tricked, or not tricked into renting, if you decide to rent, you're not building equity. But if you do buy, it's going to cost you more money, and you're going to have less money in your pocket. So it provides people a big dilemma. And so this is the premise for everything I wanted to talk about today. And I want to react to some videos. So let's bring that up. Bam. Bam.
So mortgage rate races towards 8% after.
Okay, so this is the PBD podcast, which is probably one of the best podcasts out for business and even politics, which I'm not getting into, but I really respect what they're doing, and they have really good conversations. So let's react to this. Was 2 weeks ago. Economy is destroying the average guy. Mortgage rates hit 8%, highest since 2008.
Hitting a high not seen since late 2000. Okay, this is a CNBC story that we're talking about. This is, so here's what it looks like.
Rob, get the mortgage calculator from Google up.
Yeah, that would be perfect. So the average rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage rate surged to 7.72, the highest since the end of 2000, driven by rising yields on a 10-year treasury, which has been climbing due to strong economic data. Mortgage rates, which had briefly dropped to around 6% at the beginning of the year, have been steadily rising over the summer, impacting home sales despite strong demand. There's a possibility that rates may exceed 8%. The higher mortgage rates have adversely affected housing affordability and a new and existing home sale markets, causing home builders' sentiment to decline. For example, a borrower purchasing a $400,000 house with a 20% down payment on a 30-year fix faced a mortgage payment roughly $930 higher compared to a 3% rate during the height of COVID pandemic. So check this out. Pull up the mortgage calculator if you can.
So they're just going over kind of what I was just going over, but let's follow along, see what their numbers look like.
All right, let's say you do $500,000.
Okay, guys, this doesn't have property taxes in it, so it's going to be less.
Okay.
Well,
is the loan, 30-year fixed, and take that to 8%.
amount.
Okay, take that to 8%. Okay, so the payment is what? $36.69. Just write that down.
Woo.
$3,700.
$36.69. Okay.
Wow.
Now,
Roommates.
the only thing.
And just for context, I just bought my house in 2020 that I'm living in, this house right here, and my payment with property taxes and everything is $1,800. If I bought this house today, I'd probably be $2,800. You know, so that's what it's looking like.
Thing I want you to change is just change that 8% to 3%.
Watch this.
Which was what it was 18 months ago, 2108. Okay. So 2108,
almost $1,500.
you're talking about $1,551 more. So do 1,551 divided by 2108. What's 1,551 divided by 2108? 1,551 divided by 2108 is, it's a 74% increase on mortgage payments. So now, Rob, if we do this, take the 2108, just pull up a regular calculator, and divide the 2108, put 2,108 divided by 0.36. 0.36 equals, that's what the bank is going to want to see for your income.
Times 12.
What?
Okay. No, hang on. So the bank is going to want your monthly income to be $5,855.
Jeez.
Do it now times 12 to see what the annual would be. Okay. Equals what?
70.
So they want a $70,000 your income to qualify for a $500,000 loan 18 months ago.
That's without any debts. So if you have debts, you have to subtract that.
Now, go clear the whole thing up.
Real quick, why'd you do 0.36?
That's the debt to income.
Gotcha. That's what you need to be making.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that's conventional. You can actually have a higher percentage if you use like FHA, but then you're going to have additional costs, PMI, stuff like that.
So now,
explain that for a second. Your bank is
ratio.
evaluating you, right? For people listening.
So the bank is looking at you saying, can this guy afford to buy this house? How much money do you make per month? So they'll take the mortgage payment and divide it times, the typical number is going to be 0.36, and you'll get that number to know this is what you need to make to be able to afford to buy the house. So now watch this. Go to the 3669. So same house, same area, 18 months different, Rates are 8%. Now divided by 0.36. Now the bank wants you to make 10,191
times 12.
So
over 100 grand a year, you're saying?
Guys, they want your income.
How about
to be 122,000.
And this number is low because if they did this calculation fully, the property taxes would be in there. So if you're buying a $500,000 house in New Jersey, your property taxes are probably at least $10,000. So that's going to add. You're going to have to make an extra. What is that? $20,000? Yeah, because basically you need to double it in your income, I believe.
$1,000 to qualify for the same house. So then the question, so then you ask the question for the strikes, and you say, okay, why are they striking? Maybe because they can't afford to buy the house.
Mm-hmm.
So Bidenomics, guess what? More he talks about Bidenomics, it's the worst thing he's doing for himself. The more he's talking about Bidenomics, and outside of this, you know what's the first default that's shown right now? You know what is the first default? Because right now,
so he made a good point here, right? Because there's a lot of strikes happening across the country. Auto worker strike is the biggest one, but also Hollywood striking and stuff like that. And it makes a lot of sense because people can't afford to live. Like, gas is expensive. Your house is expensive, whether you're renting or you're buying. It's getting out of control. Food is expensive. Remember, the egg prices were crazy, but now you go to the restaurant. Like, I went to the breakfast spot and I spent $21 by myself, and I didn't get that much food. I feel like you used to be able to get a breakfast for like $5 to $8. And then the service is worse these days, because everybody cut their staff and all kinds of stuff. So everyone's kind of pissed off and frustrated because you're not making a lot more money, but everything is costing more, including housing. And we're seeing social effects from that, like the strikes, because people are striking because they can't live. Your quality of life has been going down because your housing expense is usually your biggest expense. And so if housing costs twice as much, it's brutal. Now, my thing about housing is that for people like me, I already said my mortgage is $1,800 here in this house. I mean, I'm older. Like, so if it took me longer to be able to buy this house, it would cost me an extra $1,000 a month. And they're being punished by the economy, basically, if you're older, you snooze, you lose, I guess. But say, you did all the right things, you graduated to college, you got a good income, you're going to still have a difficult time. You're going to be paying more than I am, right? So I'm able to save an extra $1,000 versus you who just came into the market and just bought your first house. And look, life isn't fair, but like, I'm really looking at it objectively as far as the ramifications for everyone. And it's incredibly concerning because what are people supposed to do? And I think my biggest issue is that it's not getting better. It's getting worse because no one wants to sell their house, because if I sell my house, I have to buy one at 8%. It's going to cost double. Like, I could sell my house and get a house that's half the cost, and I'm going to pay the same amount. So why would I sell my house? So everyone's thinking that way because most people have a low interest rate. So then no one's putting their house for sale, which, since there's low inventory, the prices keep going up. Even though the economy and everything's slowing down, no one is selling their house. So the prices continue to go up. And I don't see the catalyst that's going to change that. And I think that's the scary thing is, as I always say, owning a home is going to become a luxury good.
Commercial real estate?
Well, we're seeing on a lower level. So let's categorize the defaults. We have car payments. Under car payments, we have
cars cost more.
Good credit car payments. And we have D-paper, which is subprime car payments. Then on mortgage, you have what? Regular people that got mortgages that have good credit. Then you have subprime. Then you have commercial real estate is what? Regular people that got good,
Okay, this is the other thing. Commercial real estate, office space is done. And the thing about real estate is that the effects take a long time to hit, right? So if you have long lease terms and all that kind of stuff, especially in the commercial space, you won't see the impact of all these businesses with all this empty office space that they don't need. And then they're leasing less. And then what are they going to do with these office buildings because they're not making money? And then maybe they can't make their mortgage payments, and everything could be a big problem there. It's weird because in housing or residential, I don't think it's a problem, but specifically for office space, woof, I think that's going to be talked about in the next 2 to 3 years, I think.
Commercial, some of them that did hardcore financing. You have school loans, okay? You know what is the first thing right now that's defaulting right now? Is subprime car payments is up, skyrocketing.
Repos.
Which is core workers that have a reasonable amount of debt.
Yes.
Yeah. And they're probably paying 15%, if less, more, whatever it is.
Yeah, so because these guys' credit is not 750, their credit score is a 650, 620. And they're trying to get car financing. You ever gone to a dealership to get a car financing with bad credit?
Oh,
your payment is 30% higher, 20% higher.
That guy, if you're in that financial situation, probably don't understand interest rates for all that matter. But when you walk into the car lot, they're like, how much does your monthly payment need to be? All right, yeah, I can afford $350.
Well,
don't look over here that you're paying 18%. That's how
payment-based.
That's how
culture.
car companies,
You're absolutely.
That's how they make their money out of finance.
But
don't look here.
Let's describe one of those subprime workers Pat's talking about. How about this? A nurse at Kaiser Permanente making $65,000 a year, 7 years out of school, still with school loans. She is a subprime borrower, and she is currently in a picket line.
So that is the reason why I believe a lot of these strikes are taking place, because the economy is destroying the average guy today. It is destroying the average guy.
That's a fact. And that's so I've been really quiet online about real estate and everything, because what is the solution? Because people reach out to me every day and they want to, get into real estate, buy a house, invest. And all I could tell people is, if you don't have enough money, is to save, and I feel like that's a very unsatisfactory answer. Same thing with people that want to upgrade their house. I'm the anti-salesperson right now. It's like, all right, I'm paying for example, again, I like using myself and real numbers as an example. I'm paying $1,800 a month on my house. If I wanted to upgrade, I'm going to be paying like $3,600 a month. How is that going to make sense unless I'm going to have a really big family need or like a very substantial change in my life that would make sense for me to pay $1,500 more a month. And then now you might be house poor depending on your income. So it's a conundrum that I don't know what the solution is. Actually, I had an interesting conversation at a meeting today, and I think the only pitch is for lifestyle or the intangible benefits of home ownership right now, because the financial side isn't looking that good.
You know who else is starting to default right now?
Oh, and if you're in the chat, let me know. Let me know what you think. Give your comments. You guys can, hit the link if you want to come chat with me. I'm doing Q&A, so if you have any questions or want to talk about anything, really, business, whatever, real estate, we could talk about it.
Who else is starting to default right now? By the way, WeWork at one point was a $47 billion company.
Oh, yeah.
WeWork. You've heard of WeWork.
If you guys didn't know, WeWork was almost like Airbnb for micro office space. And this is what he's talking about, is office space is getting killed right now. And I think WeWork is going out of business.
Just defaulted on a payment. Rob, type in WeWork default payment. I think it's a $95 million payment they just defaulted on. Zoom in a little.
And one thing that I think with office real estate, look, you could say, well, okay, they're going to convert some of the office space into condos and stuff like that, but that takes a long time. And if we, the last 20 years per se, the cities have really like come back as far as desirability. No one used to want to live in the city. Now cities are really popular, and everyone wants to live there. We're seeing property values skyrocket in most populated areas. I wonder if we'll see sort of a lull or a reversal in that, or a decline in prices as some of this office space gets converted into residential space. Because if you have a big office building, you can convert it into condos. Now you have more units.
$95 million payment they just defaulted on.
What?
So shared office space rental company WeWork said it wouldn't be making interest payments on about $95 million due Monday. And it's shared.
See, this is the thing. So now there's banks that are not going to get this $95 million, and then that affects cascades down through the economy. So there are impacts, although 95 million isn't that much. So everything, you would need a bigger hit for it to be super noticeable.
Fell at an all-time low. WeWork said it would use its 30-day grace period for the debt payments to hold discussions with certain stakeholders and to enhance its liquidity. You miss on a $95 million payment. Now, you may say, dude, Pat, that's a lot of money. You were valued at $47 billion. So you know what this shows? Can you type in WeWork highest valuation? WeWork highest
Toronto
valuation. I think it's 46, 47.
What's up, man? Let's see if I can do this. Yo, we got Iron Man. I can't hear you though. You got to, I hear you. So I'm just gonna ask. Okay, you can still hear me?
Yep.
That's funny. I have it muted. Okay. I'm just gonna ask you what your perspective is on home affordability. What are you telling people?
Home affordability. Oh my God. You're asking a crazy question. Okay, right now, the interest rates, of course, are super duper high. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the interest rates at this point are super high. So you're definitely going to pay more in a mortgage than you would have paid a year and a half ago. Now, there's a flip side to this. If you wait and purchase a home a year from now, you're probably going to pay more for that home when it comes to price. Your mortgage may be smaller, but the overall price will be larger. You're probably better off buying now and refining later.
Do you think?
And that's coming from Iron Man.
Do you think rates will go down?
Yes. Question is when, right? So rates will go down at some point, right? It's just the up and down flow of real estate. So eventually rates will go down. The question is how long? So let's say that buyer holds on to that mortgage for 2 years. If they can afford it for at least 24 months, that interest rate will probably go down.
So you think in 24 months?
Yep.
So let me bring up the interest rate chart here.
Okay.
And so this goes all the way to 75. It's funny because I have an echo here, so it's hard for me to talk, but I'm gonna fight through. If you look at this chart, it looks like rates are still low. That's the thing. That's the thing that I get concerned about.
Okay, because if you look back maybe like 10 years ago, maybe 12, maybe I would say 13 years ago, rates were
2006 we're at 7%.
Right. So rates eventually came down slightly, right? And then as you see, they're going back up. So they run in these couple of year cycles. But
Right.
I think the government is more reactionary to the market nowadays than they were 10 years ago.
Right. So
10
if I
years ago, they would have let us go for maybe 7 years with the same interest rate. But nowadays, everything's very reactionary.
and we got election, so they're going to want to
Right.
make things look a little better.
Exactly.
And so you see when I zoom in on the chart,
Let me see.
it's like a U. Like it's
Mhm.
you see there's like a valley, and then
Right.
we're getting back to where it was in 2000.
Right. But I don't think the time frame in between is going to be so large anymore. I think
Right.
the days of long time frames are over.
You think it'll keep doing peaks and valleys?
Well,
Because you see this
we went from 3
Yeah.
to 8 within
real fast.
a year.
Yeah, look at that. Bam.
So that tells you right there, if the market was the way it was 15 years ago, that 3 to 8 would have took 7 years.
Right. Because if I go further out, it's much more. I mean, there's spikes that you're talking about, and then it goes back down,
Right.
and then it's pretty much from 2002 to 2008. It stays close to a mean,
Right. Right.
and then even 09 to 2018, it's kind of it has some peaks and valleys, but that if you drew a median line, it'd be
But not
pretty
boom.
stable. Yeah. Interesting.
You see how it shot up so fast in such a short period of time?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's super reactionary nowadays.
Right.
So the market's not going to be what the market was for our grandparents or the
Right.
people prior to us. It's going to be fast. You have to get in, get out, get in, get out.
So you think essentially don't worry about your purchase timing as far as rates and just take the refi.
Right. Well, because if you don't do that, you're betting that you're going to get that same house today for cheaper a year from now.
Right. And my thing is if the rates go to 5, the prices are going crazy.
They're going right back up.
Can you explain why to the people?
Why the prices will go back up? Oh, because more people are in the market with more money to quickly start to gobble those homes up, and they're going to start competing with each other all over again. The same reason why they wanted to slow the market down. There's too much competition. It was too many people with money all over the place. Now the only people that can purchase a home are the people that can actually afford it.
Right. If it goes back to 5, all the people that want to upgrade their house are going to sell and buy at the same time.
Exactly.
The market's going to go crazy.
It's going to go crazy. So
Which
what
means
they're
that
trying to do is hold that together for right now.
yeah, because if it drops too fast, it's going to go
Right.
insane.
Right. Right. But even if it goes to 6 or 5.9, still good.
Yeah, because before you got on, I was talking about my house, 300,000.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at around 3%.
Wow.
My payment with taxes is 1,800.
Right. Right.
It say
What would
I
that be
had a bunch of
today?
kids
What would
and I
that
wanted
be
to buy.
today?
Go ahead.
What would that 18 be today with the interest rate?
Right. I think it'd probably be 28,
Right.
26.
Right.
But say, I got married and started having kids and needed to get a bigger house, right?
Mm-hmm.
At 6%, I could probably make that make sense
Right.
because the payment probably be 24, 25.
Exactly.
But we're just going to have to cram in the house until the rate comes down because I'm not selling my house. So I think that's
not spend as much.
right.
You know, don't just go crazy with spending. But eventually, your interest rate, you may not see the threes again, but you may see the fours and fives.
Right. And I think that's really good advice because I'm always doom and gloom. But if you can sustain the high rate, people
Right.
do need to understand that you can refinance. And
Yeah.
the higher your rate is, and if the rates go down, the more that you'll save.
Yep.
As long as you could afford the house in the first place, it'll be a bonus to you to be able to refi down.
Exactly. The only people that are buying right now are people that can actually afford it,
Yeah.
which is good in a way for real estate. It's the good and the bad. But the people that are buying now are very strong buyers. So they're going to be the ones that are going to stay in their house no matter what.
Right. That's where all my business went because I had all the people that was just getting their foot in the door and they've been priced out.
Exactly.
And I feel bad for that, man. I don't know what to tell them. Like, what
They
are you
can't
telling
get a
people?
$300,000 house now for the 1800.
Right.
You know what I mean? But somebody right now that's buying a $300,000-$400,000 house that's qualified to pay $3,000 a month. They're strong buyers.
And the funny thing is that $300,000 house was a $600,000 house before.
Yes.
So you're getting way less house. But
Right.
if you get the 300,000, like you're saying, and the rates go down, the price probably go up, and then they can sell and upgrade at that point.
Right.
Boom.
Right. It's like hitting the lottery.
Yeah.
Because you got the house cheaper. Because if you wait a year or two, that same house today that's 400,000 will probably be 500,000 in the next 2 years.
Right. And that's what hold on. Median sales of home prices, right? Let's go to 2000. This is what that looks like.
Right.
So, I mean, I always tell people was my argument all the time. Tell me when a bad time to buy was.
Never.
You know?
Never. And but here's the question to you, Ryan. Do you think we hit the top price? Do you think we're at the top right now?
I think we're at a very stable level because if you look here, Q4 2022 was 480,
Right.
and it's down to 431. I think that's the healthy area. But if rates go down, you're going to see this trend continue.
Right.
To go up.
See, we're also in South Jersey, right?
Yeah.
So we will eventually look like New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not there yet.
Yep. That's a good point.
We're not there. So we still have further to go with prices. Prices can still go higher in South Jersey. We're close to North Jersey and New York, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, that's the funny thing is even before COVID and stuff, I started having North Jersey people, New Yorkers,
right,
all that people coming into our market, and they loved our pricing.
Yes, they did.
And when I look at even news articles and stuff, that's happening in Florida. All the metropolitan areas were going up crazy, and then it was bleeding over into the more suburban areas, and those were getting expensive because they were looking further and further out. So that trend is like a national trend.
Exactly. That's what I was getting. I was getting a lot of North Jersey people, a lot of New Yorkers were moving down here. And they thought that we were on sale. For them, we were so cheap. And this was during the beginning of COVID. They were still coming and literally buying everything.
Yeah, they're like, this is cheap. I'm like, yo, that's an expensive house.
Yes, and they still don't think we've reached the prices of North Jersey or New York.
Oh, definitely not.
So that tells you our area still has a ways to go.
Yeah. And, it's funny because in my area, there's a lot of complaints about warehouses and development. And it's only going to get worse because you can only build up the city center so much, and then things spread out, and that it's coming out
True.
this way, more development.
True.
It's just the way of the world.
Right. I don't know why the Burlington Center Mall is not. I like. I know when the market crashed, the mall crashed. But you would think today things are coming back a little bit financially, like that area would come back.
Yeah, so the shopping here has always struggled, like the higher end, nicer type stuff. We've always had like entry level shopping restaurants and stuff. We don't have a lot of restaurants. We don't have a lot of like higher end shopping. So I don't know what it is, but our area doesn't sustain that type of stuff. It all gets gobbled up into the Cherry Hill area.
Yes. Yes. No, I understand. Everybody's still running down there. Oh, prices are up. God,
Yes, they are.
this is right. Prices are up, but we're still not North Jersey yet.
And even nationally, to make the argument, I mean, you got to get in the game. It's just going to keep
Right.
going up with prices. What do you? I mean, you're
Get
getting
what
left
you can
behind.
afford. Get what you can afford because it will save you on the back. Get what you can afford today.
Yeah, and it's weird as a realtor to tell people that because they're going to look at you funny, like, oh, you just
Yeah.
want to get a sale. But that's why I
Right,
try to
but
use
no.
these charts.
Right, but no. Again, if you don't buy today, you have to look at where you think prices are going to be 2 years from now. You can't look at today. You have to look down the road. And historically, real estate has always crept up.
Yep, facts.
So look at the 80s, what prices were compared to the 90s, and the 90s compared to the 2000s, and so on.
What do you say to someone though that says, well, right now, certain places the rent is cheaper to buy, so they want to sit out and rent?
Okay. I understand that argument. But the problem is you have no write-offs. You have no tax write-offs. There's so many things that come along with home ownership. Your money's not being thrown away on somebody else's mortgage. Remember, whether you're renting or buying, if you're renting, you're paying somebody else's mortgage. They still have a mortgage to pay 9 times out of 10, and you're the one paying it.
Right. So the amount that you're paying into the principal balance
Right.
is getting banked for you in the equity of the property. So
Right.
your whole mortgage payment isn't going to nothing.
Right.
Now
Right.
the interest part, is paying the loan, but
Yeah.
you get a couple $100 in equity every month.
Right. Right. And I know there's people that tell me there's ways around that paying it deeper into the home payment instead of paying as much to the interest. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Right. So if you have if you just pay, like, if your payment is $2,000, if you pay 2,100, you can apply that extra 100, which makes a big difference over 30 years.
Exactly.
I'm a big fan of debt though, so I actually don't do that.
Right.
I used to,
Okay.
but I'd rather just take the money and buy another property. Why pay down the debt? So if you're on an investment side, why would you ever pay down debt? That's
right.
my thing.
Right. If it's good debt and you can get a renter or something like that
Right.
to pay the remaining amount, or yeah. When it comes to trying to pay deeper into the principal of the loan, there's a way of getting home equity lines of credit, and there's a way of doing that. I'm not the master of it, but I have clients that have done it.
Yeah, these HELOCs are kind of mysterious for some
Right.
reason.
That might be something we got to dig a little deeper into.
Right, we got to bring on a HELOC person or something, because I've
Yeah.
been trying to. I have a bunch of properties with equity that I want to access without refining. And I look at HELOCs, but can you do it for non-owner occupants? What's the requirements? Blah, 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 all that stuff.
That's a good question. That's a good question. But it supposedly helps you pay down the principal amount faster if you use the HELOC the right way.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, there's like this thing you can do. I don't know how the
Right.
numbers work on that either. I have heard about that though.
Ryan, we're charging you with bringing that information back to us.
Okay.
Okay, you're bright. I'm gonna let you work on that and bring that back.
We'll set it up. We'll I think these conversations will be cool. I got to figure out this audio thing, but we can have like a whole bunch of people on here and just have a round table that probably would benefit a lot of people. Yeah, for sure. Interesting.
How do I take this line?
Oh, there's a way to do it.
Now,
Yeah, there's a way to record the whole thing and then you can clip it out actually. And
oh, okay.
I could probably, I don't think mine's recording. Oh, I could send you the link and it can download and we'll figure it out.
Okay.
But you're gonna need somebody to like clip it or something, unless you learn how to do it.
Edit it up or whatever. Yeah.
But that was some good gems on there that you had.
Yeah. We can just edit the good parts.
Right, exactly. Because I got to cut out that whole audio issue.
Edit the part where I actually have audio.
Right. Yeah, and I'm sure they're still getting feedback because my speaker on my phone is where I'm getting your audio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, but I'll figure that. We'll do a test at some point, or so. I'll figure it out. I got all this technology here. Can't even use it.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But I hear you clear. You're clearing the bell. It's working great from your side to us.
All right, cool.
Perfectly.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna do another one on Friday, so we'll see.
Okay.
I'm boring. Look, I ain't going out on Friday night.
You know what
Yes,
I mean?
sir.
We need to have some cocktails on here. Just have our little cocktails and keep going.
Oh yeah, I get my whiskey out.
There you go. But people can learn a lot from lives like this.
Exactly, and it's easy just hanging out. And this is open to anybody who want to hop on. I can drop the link in again, and let people come on.
Yeah, we can bring in some of our mortgage friends.
Exactly. We could call Ty in. Bam.
We can beat Ty.
Yeah, bring Ty. He probably in Miami or something though.
Yeah.
Mr. Miami.
He runs Miami now.
He in the pool or something.
Yes, but good information. You know what I mean?
He said, take a shot every time someone says rates. So that is the tough thing doing content though, is I don't want to keep talking about the same stuff.
Right. So we can bring in different parts of real estate, like the HELOCs, how to use them. Just giving people, I guess, information. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yep.
But when it comes to this market and our topic, it is tough now, obviously, because it costs more to purchase. But if they look at it, the overall price of the home will be higher if they wait. Yes, you may get a slightly lower interest rate, but you may pay a lot more for the home in time.
Right.
And
I actually
that you're taking.
I think I realized what my audio problem was actually. Hold on. Let me see if I figured this out. Did you hear that?
Yeah, hold on. Let me come back.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Hold on. Do you hear this noise?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Where's my in? Sorry, I'm back to this whole technical.
Now I'm unmuting my mic.
Hold on. It's not you.
Okay.
Are you talking? Say something.
1,
No.
2.
Okay. All right. I'm not gonna mess with that right now. That's strange.
You got
Oh.
the fancy microphone there. You're all set up, Ryan. You're all
Yeah.
set up. But guess
Yeah.
what? I got the fancy microphone.
Yeah. What you got?
I got a fancy microphone too, brother.
Oh, I can't see it. It's invisible. Oh, okay. There you go. What? Why are you not using it?
I didn't even think of it.
And you need some headphones
I probably do. I probably need some headphones.
because you can't talk in the mic and then have your speakers playing into your own mic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would get too much feedback.
Yeah.
But this the camera that I have now is pretty good. The sound quality, the video, it's pretty good.
Right.
It ain't as good as your camera, obviously.
Well, I wasn't trying to use this one, but I was having a delay with the other one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yours looks clear.
Yeah, thanks.
Let me see. Let me see my settings. How clear can I? Let's see if I can go up to 1080. Will it allow me to do that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'm trying right now.
You probably don't have enough light.
Yeah.
That's why it's grainy. Because, I can't. Shouldn't have the LEDs be showing mic levels on the shirt. Oh, so I'm using XLR Ace, so it's not powered by USB. If I plug it in, you'll hear it. You'll see it. You'll see it.
Hello.
There you go. Oh.
Okay, what just happened?
Oh, you can't. Can you hear me?
Yup.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, see? Now you see it.
Oh, the bars across your mic?
Yeah.
That's
Ace,
fancy, man.
Ace knows something about the mic, so
Ace
I had to
definitely
plug it in.
knows something about it. Ace is fancy, man. Ace, you're
See, I got my soundboard here.
Ace, you are a fancy dude.
Audio. Yeah. It's
We
really
have
bothering me.
about real estate.
Yeah, Ace, you got a real estate question, man? What's up? Audio check. Hold on. Okay. I'm back.
Okay. So yeah, I have to go to a Halloween party.
Are you doing that now? Today?
I'm forced to go. I don't go to Halloween
At 9 o'clock?
but I'm going Sunday. It's a client whose house, who I sold them a house.
Oh.
I think I closed their house about 2 months ago, and they're doing a Halloween party, and they're forcing me to go.
Yeah, I don't like getting dressed up. I don't like that.
Yes.
Ace said, nope, just saw the recommendation and thought I listened. Well, I appreciate you, bro. Sorry about all the technical difficulties. I'm going to get this cleaner and better over time. We're still working on the kinks here. So
Still in the beginning stages.
Yeah. That's what happens when you try to be too fancy.
Yeah, man. You got a fancy setup, man.
I got to test it. I didn't. It worked before, so I don't know why it's not working now. It's weird.
You got a fancy chair there. You got a fancy I see you got a fancy chair. I tried to get a fancy chair. I think
my other one was broken, so I had to do something.
Oh, I like that chair. I like that.
Let's see what these guys are talking about.
What do you think is going to happen to the real estate market the next 6, 12, 18 months?
Oh, what am I doing here? Okay.
Well, my answer to that question will be that the situation today for real estate, and I'm talking about residential, of course, there is also commercial real estate. That's a different story. Retail and office space and things.
Actually, what do you think the impact? I think office real estate's going to be way down, right? What do you think the ramifications of that is going to be?
So we're talking about commercial spaces.
Well, work from home is still a thing. People
Yeah,
just need less office space, right? So when their
yeah.
leases are up,
You're right about that.
you're
I
not
didn't,
going to lease
you
it.
know what, that's something I didn't really think about, but you're absolutely right. Will people really need office space like they've done in the past? You know, moving forward with computers and technology and the way me and you are doing this right now. This is the way
Exactly.
the world's going.
Exactly. So my thesis is it's weird because I don't think we've ever seen where a commercial real estate market was down
Right,
and a residential was up.
right.
So these office spaces like in the cities and stuff, which 20 years ago, the city nobody wanted to live in really,
Mm-hmm.
and like New York and Philly and Miami and all these cities are way up and attractive now.
Right.
Then I think you're gonna have a void of office space where they're going to want to convert them into condos. But I think there's going to be a gap in time when this conversion is happening, which I think the city prices, you'll get more units, which should bring the help. It probably isn't enough to significantly reduce the pricing, but you might find some opportunities to buy in the city.
I think
But what happens in the meantime? Uh, they talked about like WeWork is going out of business, which was like, the Airbnb for office space where
wow.
you could like
Office
rent
space.
temporarily.
Oh, that's
And
bad.
they
That's
were saying they're not making their $90 million a month interest payment because they're going out of business. So then does
bad.
that affect the banks? Like what happens with that kind of stuff is something that I consider
But
in
I
the
think
market.
what you just said, they're going to turn those into condos. So, like
Right.
you said, commercial is going to start becoming residential. You're seeing areas now, look at all these developers. They're developing every little piece of land right now. So they're even more residential, more residential. That's where the money's at.
It's just going to be warehouses, Amazon, and houses.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yep,
A-
you're right.
Ace is, Ace said he's moving next year, upstate New York. Just listening in. If you keep it moving and consistent, and figure out the audio, you got the energy to interview and keep moving. Hey, I appreciate it. Yeah, I do have an itinerary of things, and then Tehran came on, and then we had technical difficulties. But yeah, I want to plan out the show. I'll probably go live twice a week. I really want it to be Q&A and conversational like this and just have experts on and somebody like Ace who just has a question. Now you got two people you can ask, and we're all going to have different perspectives and point of views, and I really want to provide a service to people to answer questions because we do lack resources sometimes, or we don't want to ask
Right.
or ask the question. So provide some free game, help people out. And because people make mistakes strategizing about buying houses all the time, like they might buy a car or they change jobs or do something where maybe you should have waited, and then like the order
Uh,
of operations and the things that you do, and that one little question that you ask could really change your life based off of being able to buy, get a lower interest rate, et cetera, et cetera. It can really make a big difference.
it really can. Um, like I said, we just want to be a value to the people. Um, you know, a lot of people might even ask, why did you bring somebody like me on? Who am I? Um, I've been an agent 14 years. Um, I've been a multi-million dollar agent, probably 11 of that 14, I would say. So I've sold a lot of homes. Um, so I've seen a lot of ups and downs in the market. Um, so I would say definitely in South Jersey or the area I'm from, I'm definitely one of the people you would consider an expert in this area.
Both.
And Ryan is the man. Ryan, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I've been turning my mic down to stop the
Oh,
echo.
okay.
But yeah, I forgot I had my soundboard here, and I'm glad you got into that because we should introduce you and your
Right.
credentials and stuff. Because Tehran's been in the game twice as long as me, so
Mhm, mhm.
and them
But
M's.
Ryan, you're doing phenomenal, man, and you're
Thank
bringing
you.
some real value to people. And again, like I said, I've been following you for a while. You know, we had mutual friends that told me to watch you and see what you were doing, and yeah,
That
you're doing
is so crazy, but I appreciate you. But
yes,
yeah, I'm glad to have you on here because you're a wealth of knowledge, and it is great to. This feels really good, like especially we got Ace in here. Maybe something we say might be able to be helpful.
yes,
And now make sure you follow both of us or whatever. And if you do have a question, like if you follow me on Instagram, send me a DM. I'll definitely give you my perspective. Tehran, the same thing.
definitely.
And we got to build the community up and help people out. And especially with all these scammers and people out here doing weird stuff and charging people for information and seminars and all that.
Mm.
I kind of don't believe in that. I think if you help people out, the
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 world's getting
money,
crazy.
the
The world's
money, the
getting
benefits will find you over time.
yes, yes. So
So
like I seen that you saw what was happening with real estate and with the scams and all the different things. Um, that's why like guys like me and you that are licensed real estate agents in this business, we have to be the voice of reason, even through all the drama. We have to be that light, you know what I mean? That just keeps shining and keeps doing what we do. You're going to get people that are coming in and out of this game, and some people are really there to help people. Some people are doing scams, doing fraudulent things, but we have to be that light at all times.
and that's something I've been talking about is that especially in our community, the entertainers are leading the way because they have the spotlight, and I
Right.
think that's kind of a problem. And
Yes, because
it's
they don't know real estate. They do not understand real estate.
they're in
It's
front of a Lambo telling you about real estate, but they actually don't know about it.
there you go. And again, in our game, I mean, you watch agents do that too, So it's like you don't know who to trust. They're in front of the Lambo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is a problem. And
Right?
and and my thing though is, and that's why I try to get other agents and people to put themselves out there because you got to counteract it with the good information.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people faking, and they rent
There is.
a Bentley and stand in front of it.
Stand in front of it, stand in front of the Bentley, stand in front of all their cars and or other people's cars or other people's homes. Like
Rent a
it's
private
great.
jet on the tarmac, don't even fly nowhere, just take a picture.
It's just great. It's just, but this is where we're at. Social media has created a monster. When I first came into real estate, social media wasn't the way it was now. It took me
Right.
2 years before I even posted my closings on Facebook at the time. And I had people that were begging me to do it because they were like, why don't you show the people what you do? So I went on Facebook and I started to just show like closings or me doing a like maybe an open house or things of that nature. I kind of started in Instagram, but it took a long time for me to even do it because I'm not into the clout thing. I don't like doing it just for showing off, but I understand that today it's a commercial for you as an agent.
Yeah, but actually, I would challenge you to look at it a different way. I actually follow this creator called The Lead Attorney, and he was a family attorney for 20 years. And he does like live streaming and he talks about all kinds of different legal issues, but a lot of stuff in family law. And he explains a lot of things and he goes over situations kind of like how we were talking about the DJ envy and the scams and stuff going on. And he
Right.
would say, and it really hit me, is that anybody who's been in the game for a while, anybody 30, 35 plus with some experience with something to bring to the table, you almost have a responsibility to bring your talents to the table and help other people. And so you could think, oh, it's showing off, but I always, some of it is, right? Like I want my shit to look cool sometimes, but if you have something that can help people, especially in our community, I really do think you have a bit of a responsibility even to
Yes.
pay that forward to other people. So
Yeah.
I would try to think about it more in that sense than, oh, I'm trying to show off.
And it took me a while to do that. It was my clients that would tell me, "Hey, post what you do, post the closings, post." So on my page, if you guys follow me, Instagram, Teron Martin, Facebook, Teron Martin. I will show closings, I will show showing homes, I'll show some different things because I realize the people want it. They want to see that, they want to know. Every now and then I will post informational videos. Um, if something comes to mind, kind of like Ryan does the same thing. If something comes to mind, he just goes in and he posts. But he's giving you guys real information from a real agent's perspective, not this pie in the sky stuff that we're seeing on the internet right now, and all these guys trying to take your money with all these crazy courses and all this goofiness. We do it for real. So
Oh, I
what you're
did want to,
saying here with us is the real thing.
yeah, I wanted to address Henry Yolk because I get what you're saying. He's saying too many courses, not enough, honestly. I just think with the courses, first of all, entertainers doing a real estate course is kind of a problem.
It's crazy.
But I don't know, man. Like I get charging for it because it is a value. But now you're turning it into like extracting value from people.
Right.
And I get it. I don't know. I go back and forth about that. Like, because you've been in the game 20 years. You kind of deserve to be paid for the information.
Right. But even if we did something like that, right? And we had people pay to come into a place to listen to the information, we wouldn't partner with people on deals. We're not taking their money
Right.
and telling them to do real estate deals with us. We're just giving them the valuable information that they could take and run with it. I wouldn't try to take their money and try to put together deals and try to pay for mentorship, and it's too much.
Yeah, that's why I've never taken in like investor money for
Right.
flips and all that stuff. But
Right.
I was
I mean, if you
looking
do it
at
on
doing a
your
fund.
own or in your own little circle, that's fine.
Right.
But when you're asking 100 people at a seminar to join me, everybody all come. That's just not realistic. It's just not. Real estate doesn't work that way.
Yeah, that's the thing. But there's crowd funds now and stuff like that, which I'm like, but the information and disclosure is a problem because people don't, because we had a podcast yesterday, Already Real Estate Podcast, was just coming out. And I was asking, what is the salesperson's responsibility versus the consumer, right? Like for mortgages, I find is a good thing to talk about, right? Because people don't really understand everything, but a loan officer has a responsibility to educate, but you also have a responsibility to know what you're getting, right? And where does one responsibility begin and the other one end, and all that.
True.
Because now
mortgage side, it's a lot. It's a lot different than on our side. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you're right. A lot of people are getting mortgages and they're getting the money to purchase homes, but they really don't understand the mortgages. And I made a video on my page about that just recently, because of clients that I got a home for and they struggled prior to me. So when they saw me, they mentioned it, and I said, I'm making a video on that. And I just went and made the video.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Yup. Yep.
But you know, I always make this argument at closing. I always think about it as like, all right, so I know the government with trade and all that wanted more disclosures because, you know, pre 2008, people were not really getting the information. They're getting balloon payments and crazy stuff that those financial products are dangerous if you don't know what's going on, and they were just giving them to anybody. Not that those are all bad. Like my hard money loan's a balloon loan, right? But I know what I'm doing and I understand it.
You know when they get in, when they get out.
But the problem is they're giving you so many papers to sign with so many disclosures. Oh, if it has a flood zone, if it's this, if it's that, if no one, too much disclosure is too much.
Right. Right. Right.
You know, so in the government, it makes sense to be like, okay, we need a form for this, we need a form for that, we need a form. But now you got 50 forms, so now you're not reading it.
Right. Because attorneys are the reason why all these forms, like when you're doing these contracts and why there's so many layers, is because each layer is a lawsuit. So something happened to create that layer or that document. So a lot of times when you're doing a contract and it's that thick from a mortgage company or that thick from a real estate agent, it's because there was a lawsuit attached to that form, and they're blocking themselves from lawsuits and different things. And that's why being in an attorney state, you know, being over here in South Jersey, or really North Jersey's more attorney, South Jersey's not as bad. But in the contracts, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing there must have been some sort of a lawsuit, and that's why that document was added. Right. And so on and so forth, and so on and so forth.
If I was in charge, if I was the king, we would have to simplify these forms, but that's not how government works.
I agree. I agree.
So
I agree. And even when we do simplify it, there's attorneys that'll come and add that many paragraphs to your contract.
Tehran, I was going to go on an internet rant, but I'm more mature now about attorney review in New Jersey. So if you guys don't know, New Jersey is one of the only states that has like a standard mandatory attorney review period where the contract that you just signed is not a contract for 3 business days unless the attorney accepts it or declines it. So you could sign to sell your house, make an agreement. It's like you shook hands, and then it doesn't actually matter. Like they could just cancel it for 3 business days.
Cancel it.
Business days. So if you have a holiday and a weekend, it could be 5-6 days.
Right.
Which means if they get a better offer, they can cancel. If they sneeze, they can cancel.
It hurts the buyers. It hurts the buyer. It really does.
Honestly, it hurts both because the buyer could pull out. Like now,
or the buyer could look at and run. Right, but in this market, because there's so many buyers, the buyers tend to want to stay in the deal. It's the sellers that can now still look at other offers that come in through those 3 days.
Right.
So that 3-day review period is very important in Jersey.
But I run into a situation where the attorneys are going rogue. I have a listing and the attorney sends a rider and he added more time in the closing date and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yo, we're not doing that. And I talked to the agent and the agent's like, yeah, I don't know why he did that. He's going like he told me he's going rogue. And he's like, but I don't know if he'll change it because you know how they are. And I'm like,
what?
We're not doing that. You better change it.
Right.
It was like a whole thing. They almost lost a contract because we were about to pull the plug on them.
Exactly, because you had the listing, right?
Yeah.
So you're in control. So a lot of times, yes, that deal could have blew up.
And this is the problem. Because we know that there's attorney review, we had 3 contracts signed all at the same time.
Wow.
And because we had 2 people back out in attorney review with the riders.
Wow.
So I think it's bad for everybody because a deal is supposed to be a deal. Like if you want to review the contract, review it before you sign it.
Yes, I agree. But again, you have to put some blame on those agents for those buyers because the agent should have discussed this with their clients. When they're in, they should be locked in. That agent knows. But you got agents that just will send you an offer, haven't even really talked to their clients.
Mhm.
And their
Yeah, they
clients,
don't go over the contract. Right.
if you're on the fence, don't even give an offer.
Oh, I know. I do that. I'm like, you guys should think about it. If they're giving me a weird energy about it, like
I do
think
that
about
too.
it.
Give me
Because I don't want to go under contract and then back out.
I agree. Because it makes you look bad as an agent.
Oh, you look
to
bad.
other agents.
I save their if they back out for like a goofy reason, I like
Right.
put it as when I save their name as a contact, I'll be like backed out. Just in case I see their name again, I'm like, oh, this guy.
Right.
And it's not always their fault, but
Yeah, because maybe, I understand changing your mind, but I always say, let's not put in an offer until we know that this is the house. Let's not put in an offer. Because sometimes they just want to put in an offer to fill the water. That's not what we do. We don't put in offers to fill the water. If I put in an offer, I want the house.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I'm old school a little bit. It's like you made an agreement.
Right.
When you sign that contract, I feel like you're shaking hands.
Yeah, you're shaking hands. You are. And now, if you got some attorneys that will end the attorney review in one day.
I was just about to say that. I would advise the buyer, if they like the house, to do that, because you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot.
In attorney review in one day. Have them sign an addendum. Attorney review is ended.
So just for anybody watching, what the attorney review period, basically the contract doesn't count, but you can voluntarily end it if you both agree to it. So you can offer to close the attorney review the same day or the next day.
Exactly.
And if the other side, they should agree. I mean, why did they sign a contract?
They should agree. Yeah, so you can always do an addendum and in that too. And sometimes, I've had attorneys, like especially North Jersey attorneys, that ended attorney review immediately. They sent me, they were okay with the contract, they were okay with everything, but the one thing they did was end the attorney review for the buyer.
Perfect. Yeah. That's good.
And it worked. It definitely worked.
What do you think about as far as the home affordability with young people? Like, what do you if you got some nephews that's like graduating college, or maybe they're even in high school or something and planning out, like what do you tell them as far as like what their prospects are, how they should move, how can they deal with this current financial environment?
It's rough because if you're renting, you're going to pay a lot. Rent is super duper high. I mean, if you can just find yourself an inexpensive 1-bedroom apartment for a while to stack your money to purchase, that's the best bet. 1-bedroom apartments in a real development, you don't always want a landlord in every situation. Sometimes you just need a little cheap 1-bedroom apartment to get yourself together, to stack money, to put money in the bank, and prepare yourself for a purchase.
I like that. I think it's tough, right? Because
the landlords kick you out. The landlords, well, not Ryan. Ryan's a nice landlord.
Oh no, I'm kicking you out.
But he'll kick you as soon as that property value goes up 50,000, 60,000, like we just talked about, the next 2 years. Mr. Ryan might be telling you he's not going to renew your lease and you're going to have to go.
Man, if you don't pay, I'm sending an attorney.
But no, Ryan probably wouldn't do that. You guys.
You got to go. I don't sell property though. I actually don't believe in selling property. Like I'd never want to sell a property. Okay. Why would I do that?
But they do. The equity gets high.
Cash is trash.
Sometimes you can cash out. And I've done a lot of cash outs this year. Well, really last year, probably did more. But sometimes you can cash out for what that house would have brought you in rent for the next 10 years. You can cash out in a day. So you have to look at holding cost and all those things. over the next 10 years and figure it out.
My play though would be just not in this interest rate environment, but I'd
Right.
rather borrow the money.
Oh, okay. I got
And
you.
then now I'm getting a tax benefit
Got you.
on the interest. And so this is what I did. I had a fourplex in Texas I bought in 2010.
Okay.
And I actually had a 15-year mortgage on it at one point. So it was paid down quite low.
Okay.
And I'm like, why am I paying this stupid house down? Let me pull all this money out. So I did a refi. I took 40, 50 grand out. And this is when the rates were low. So it was still around 3%. And that was enough for a down payment for a duplex. So that property in 10 years basically had a baby and made another property for me.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
you don't even need to sell it because you can use the debt instead, or the equity, and turn the equity into debt. And it doesn't affect you because now I'm cash flowing even more. So I'm making more per month. And now I have another property.
Purchasing properties in other states. That's a whole nother video.
My personal perspective is the area in Texas. I live there, so I know about the area.
You know the area.
I don't think real estate is rocket science, though. Like, I mean, you could kind of, if you drive around and, look at the real estate value, property values, look at the lawns, like,
right.
Like you could get a sense of a neighborhood, what kind of businesses are there, that kind of stuff. I do think you should be there at some point.
Right.
I think the big problem is the property management company, because I think there's a lot of bad ones. And I've been using mine since 2010.
Okay.
And they have been fantastic. Direct deposit, semi-annual inspections. They get the best quotes. I've had air conditioners go out, had them total replacement of air conditioners, two of them. All carpet replacements, all kinds of stuff. I've never had a problem with them. Now, if I had a property in Philly, I don't know a good property management company, and Philly is a crazy rough and tumble city.
Yeah.
And I'd be a little concerned about it.
Yeah, Philly's rough. So
you got to trust.
Invest in areas that you know. Try not to invest in areas you do not know anything about.
Yeah, it's not for rookies.
No, it's not, because I've seen so many houses go vacant or demolished because the people don't even want to go back to the street to deal with the house. Because
okay, so that's something that people in the community do, because I feel like there's a lot of people promoting less desirable areas that are cheap.
Right.
Detroit market
seminars you were talking about.
Right. They're like, you could buy 5 houses for $200,000 in Ohio or whatever,
Exactly.
But I mean, that's a strategy for certain people. If that's the type of like hustle attitude, because people do real estate in Camden, but you got to have a different attitude. I'm a little like, I just want the consistent stuff. I don't want the police calling. I don't want the crazy stuff happen, and that can happen anywhere. But
exactly.
That
kind of stuff happens. Invest in areas you know about. Like if you're a Camden, you're from the city, then that's okay, because you understand the area. You know the streets. You know where to invest, where not to invest. But if you're not from that area, it's a risk. It's a risk that you're taking.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
But I like working class and above type neighborhoods that you kind of know what it is,
Exactly.
I think. Well, it's funny. I wonder what you think about the Artie Real Estate Mixer on Friday, November 10th. We're going to have a panel talking about midterm and Airbnb rentals, non-traditional rentals, which personally is not my investment strategy, because I like to be really boring.
Right.
I don't want to be in the hospitality business. Right. Or just a year lease, and I'm not trying to deal with a lot. Because the big benefit of real estate is the passiveness, passivity.
Right.
My property in Texas, I got direct deposit, and I don't get phone calls, and I don't know nothing about the The duplex I bought, I've never been there. So
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah, but the Airbnb, you have to get a maid to come through there every couple of days because people are in and out, in and out, in and
Yeah.
out. You got to clean the sheets. You got to have somebody, clean the home. It's a lot more involved.
Yeah, and I'm not a
It's
fan
not
of
as
being
passive.
involved. Right.
It's not as passive.
But the
It
numbers
may
are
make
interesting.
more money. It may make triple the amount, but you're also going to do triple the work.
Exactly. And I think it might average out though. Because what's your vacancy? You know what I mean? Like, sure, the numbers look good on a weekly basis, but are you rented 52 weeks?
Right. And then you have to have that Airbnb in an area that people want to stay.
Right.
I think people think you could just put an Airbnb anywhere and it's just going to sell.
I know, because people talk to me about it in Jersey, and I'm like, well, why is there why?
If it's not down the shore, right off the ocean, or somewhere where you can walk to a beach, or
suburban house out here ain't gonna work. I don't think. Maybe with the hospital. I don't know because I didn't. People are trying to tell me about that, but I'm like, is it that many nurses like coming in and out, doctors like temporarily?
Yeah, I don't see where it'd be a big benefit in South Jersey unless you were down the shore points.
Right. Or North Jersey, I'm sure. By New York, you could probably do some stuff.
Oh, yeah, right outside of New York City or something like that. Yeah.
But other than that, it don't make sense.
No, not at all.
What's like been the biggest pain point for you just in the business?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Anything. Top of your mind. Like, this is annoying, or I wonder what's going to happen with this.
Oh, everything can be annoying. I don't know. I would say the up and down of the mortgage interest rates, obviously. It's being a realtor, this is an up and down seesaw all the time. It keeps you on edge all the time. It's never the same. It's either feast or famine in this business. A lot of people want to get into this business because that's probably the pain point. That will probably.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes, everybody wants to get into the business because they watch television, HGTV, and they see people purchasing homes. They're looking at 3 homes within 30 minutes and 2 commercials, and they think they're purchasing a home, and that's just not reality.
Well, how's that? How are those people affecting you?
Yeah. The HGTV people or the people coming into the business?
The people coming in.
A lot of times, they could muddy the waters for the people that's been in the business a while. With offers, crazy offers. Well, look at what's happening with the prices. Look what's happening with all these things just shot out of nowhere. You could probably put that together with all the agents that came into the business at the same time.
Right.
Do
you I don't know if you want to share this, but do you think, well, because volume is down, right? So like there's less, the pie is smaller for everybody.
Right.
Are you experiencing that?
Yes. Volume is definitely down. Buyers are definitely down. Like I said, it goes back and forth. There'll be time where the buyers are just rushing in and you have more buyers than you know what to do with. Then there's times where there's no buyers. But we're also going into the holidays. So generally, real estate slows down around this time of the year.
A lot. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this is the real estate convention and all those things come. And normally real estate is at a halt.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm being called to eat.
Oh, you're getting called?
I'm getting called to eat.
Oh
boy. Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right. How much longer are you gonna be on, right?
Oh no, I was gonna get off. I actually was gonna get off and work. I was gonna run some tests and figure out why this ain't working the way I want it to work. And then I'll be back on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I wasn't trying to hold you captive. You could bail out
No,
anytime.
no, I got you. I got you. Yeah, so I will definitely come back on. We'll probably do this again. You just let me know. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I follow you, Ryan. I follow
Yeah.
whatever you're doing. And yeah, we'll definitely do this again. And we'll come up with some other points
Yeah.
and some other things to teach the people.
I look at this kind of like a lounge or a kickback, you know, kind of chill. I'm gonna have some whiskey at some point, and I might, you know, what I want to do too is probably react to some videos on YouTube. That'll give us
Right.
something to talk about. Like, oh, okay, here's our, you know, my point of view on this.
Yeah.
And then if hopefully I can get some following in here and answer people's questions, you know, and give different perspectives and try to help people out. So, and then we'll clip it and do all that kind of stuff. So,
Okay. Okay.
yes, sir.
But yeah, you can definitely run these clips. Run these clips. Try. I don't know how you're going to clip it up, but you're good at that.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna figure out. I don't have the workflow for it, but once I get the workflow down, it'll be easier.
Okay.
All right.
All
I
right,
appreciate you. You could drop some gems. I appreciate you helping me because carrying it by myself, you know, is a little tough. So I
Yeah, it
appreciate
is.
you.
It definitely is. It definitely
I got to
is.
just ask you questions. I like that.
There you go. There you go. And I'm answering them. Probably
Yeah.
more than I should.
Good answers.
Yeah.
I
But
know you don't like to give all the game. I said, oh, he's giving it up today.
no. And I don't come on and do this that often. So
Right. I know I'm getting you out your shell a little bit. But I'm really serious about that. It's you are providing a service to people that is invaluable.
right.
And that is nothing to play with, and that's something that you know, I respect and I think is a valuable service, and you should feel good about it. So
Yes. And I appreciate you for having me on here.
yes, sir. All right.
All right, guys.
Have a good one.
All right.
We're out of here.
I gotta go eat. I have no
Oh
choice.
my God, eating at 9:20. Woo.
I know, right?
All right.
You talking about fasting. All right.
Have a good dinner. Yep. See
All
you.
right. Bye, guys.
Appreciate you. Well, that's it for today. I'm going to work on our technical difficulties, and it'll be better. I plan to be live on Friday around the same time because I'm boring. I don't go out like that, and I want to provide a great service to you guys. If you have questions or enjoyed the video, hit a like, comment, send me a DM. You can find my Instagram somewhere. It's Ryan Fagan _ real estate. That's a good place to reach me. And I actually have some interesting content coming up because I'm traveling internationally. In January or February, I'm going to be talking to real estate agents in that other country and sharing what I learned because I'm looking at land. I'm looking at properties in the city in this particular country, and there'll be more information on that in the future. But I think that will be very beneficial to everybody, and especially people in the diaspora, if you know what I mean. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys. We have like 4 people in here, so shout out to everybody who was hanging out, chilling with us. Don't be a ninja watcher. Shout out to Ace for hanging in there, hanging out, listening. Really appreciate you. Seriously, if you know, even though you're in upstate New York or whatever, like if you need help or need anything, and this goes to really everybody, let Tehran be your resource. I can always refer you to different people that I might have, but these are real people that I know. They're not going to be weird or scam or nothing like that, or at least I hope so. And if they did, I would call them out. So unlike DJ Envy, who just said he didn't take money. But anyway, that's it. Again, feel free to reach out. Appreciate